Hi guys, welcome back for another workout. My name's Lydi. Today we'll be working through another prenatal friendly workout. I'm currently 31 weeks pregnant. So if you are pregnant, this workout is safe for you. We'll be working through a full body workout, mainly focusing on our glutes and on our core. So really good if you're having any of those typical pregnancy aches and pains, maybe lower back, maybe feeling like your belly is hunching you over, that posture is feeling a little bit cramped up. So I hope that this workout will help you to alleviate some of those symptoms or prevent them happening in the future. I have got my resistance band here, so if you have one for this workout, grab it now. If you don't have a resistance band, totally fine. It's just optional, adds that extra little bit of spice to the workout, but you don't need it. And then otherwise, I've got my headrest down nice and flat, and I'm starting the workout on two heavy springs. From here, I'm going to take my resistance band and place it over both of my legs. It's going to be just above my knees, around my thighs. And we'll start sitting on our carriage, nice and close to the edge, feet firmly on the floor, shoulders roll back and down. We'll start with some nice deep belly breaths, just to connect with that deep core and our body before we start moving. So I want you to take your two hands, place them around your waist, so your forefingers are reaching for your belly button, and your two thumbs are behind you on that lower back. And on your inhale, I want you to think about that belly filling up with air, pressing your forefingers and your thumbs away evenly. And as you exhale, feel those forefingers and those thumbs contract. Go again. Inhale to breathe in. Press those forefingers away, press those thumbs away. So also breathing into that back body. And then exhale, feel those forefingers and thumbs contract. Couple more. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale, belly rises, ribcage expands. And exhale, feel everything soften. One more. Nice. You can take those hands away. Now we are going to come lying onto our back for our first exercise. We're going to be moving into a glute bridge though, so we won't be lying flat for long. If it does feel uncomfortable or you feel faint or dizzy at any point, please stop, come onto your side and sit on up. Otherwise, if you're feeling comfortable in a supine position still, bring your head down to that headrest. Remember, it's down nice and flat. A little gap between your shoulders and those shoulder blocks. And you can bring those heels onto that foot bar about hip distance apart. Palms can be down nice and flat on the carriage. You've got neutral spine, so just a little pocket of air underneath that lower back. Tailbone and shoulders down onto that carriage, nice and heavy. Take a nice deep inhale, and then on your exhale, I want you to think about flattening that lower back into your carriage. Start to tilt your pelvis, so you're rolling your tailbone, then your lower back, then your middle back up off that carriage. So think each vertebra rolling off that carriage independently. You're going to give me 3 opens and closes of that band at the top. So bracing through the belly, zipping up from your pelvis to your rib cage to keep that core nice and engaged through that movement. Go again. Exhale to roll up. 3 opens and closes of that band at the top. And then you're going to roll that spine back down. So the same way you came up, you come down. So middle back, lower back, tailbone comes down last, and then untuck that pelvis so you've got that neutral spine. I'll reach my fingertips up to the ceiling so you can see my back a little bit better. So exhale, flatten that lower back, peel your hips, lower back, middle back up, 3 opens and closes of that band. Take it nice and easy here, just warming up through the legs, the core. And then inhale, peel that spine back down. So notice I'm not coming straight up, I'm peeling my spine up. So really think about articulating through that spine. And we're aiming to keep those hip bones nice and even here. So at the top of that hip bridge, can you make sure we're not rocking from side to side? Engaging through that core to keep that from happening. 2 more here. You can reach your fingers up to the ceiling to take a little bit of support away if you'd like to make this a bit harder. Otherwise, keep your palms flat on that carriage. 1 more. Nice deep breaths here. Good, thinking into those outer thighs as you stretch that band. And inhale to come down. We're going to come up one last time and hold at the top. So exhale, flatten that lower back, tuck your pelvis, roll on up, and just keep going with your opens and closes of that band. Just keep breathing normally here. Coming back to that zipping up sensation from your pelvis to your rib cage. Make sure those shoulders are away from your ears. We're not overextending through that back. Good, you're here for 5, 4, for 3, on 2, open that band, hold it open. Can we pulse those hips down and up, down and up? So weight should be even through those heels. Those hips are rising and falling evenly. Keep that squeeze on your band and squeeze into those glutes each time you pulse for 5. Nice, for 4. Nearly there for 3. For 2. On your last one, push to the top, hold that pulse. And then release that band, come all the way down nice and slow. Tailbone comes down last, good job. You can roll over to one side. So why don't you roll over onto your left hand side. And we'll come straight into our next set. So if you do have a Pilates chi ball or something you can use as a pillow, maybe a yoga block, you can place it on your headrest now. Otherwise, I'm just going to use my forearm. So you can rest your head either on your forearm or your hand, whatever's more comfortable. And for your setup here, just take a little moment to check. So take that top hand, make sure that your hips are shuffled all the way to the back of your machine. So there's nowhere else for those hips to go. Let's take a little look into that top hip. It should be directly stacked on top of that bottom one. So I'm going to roll mine slightly forward. Same with your shoulders. Top shoulder directly on top of your bottom shoulder. Your knees are just tucked up on that carriage. And then I want you to think about pushing that top hip down towards the foot bar until you feel a little feeling of lift underneath your side waist and your carriage. You might not get a full gap depending on the shape of your body, but I want you to focus on that sensation of lift underneath that left side of your body. From here, can you bring your top foot to that foot bar? So your heel and the ball of your foot are on that foot bar. Give me a little stretch on that band. So make sure that top knee is lifted. Should be about in line with your hip. Your top hand can either come underneath your bump if you'd like a little bit more support, or it can come to that shoulder block in front of you. Nice deep inhale here, and as you exhale, push through that heel, press that carriage all the way out, and then inhale to slow return that carriage back in. Exhale to press, keeping tension on that band is a nice little way to make sure that knee isn't collapsing in. But remember, you can do this without the band if you don't have one. Lovely. We're making sure that foot is all the way to the front of our foot bar. So make sure that foot isn't halfway down, just to make sure you're working into the right muscles here. So I want you to feel this in that top glute. Beautiful. Exhale to press away, making sure weight pushes into that left or that right heel, sorry. So you should still be able to wiggle your toes through this movement. And then let's work into our top range now. So the next time you're all the way out, I want you to just come in to find your heavy halfway point and hold. Keeping that carriage nice and still. Can you give me a little open and close of that band before you press through that heel to the top? So inhale, come down, find halfway. Little open, little close of that band. And then push through that heel to the top. Keep going like this. Now, depending on the tension of that band, you might be finding this easier or more difficult. So if you wanted to add a little bit more challenge, we can go for an extra 2 or 3 pulses of that band each time we find halfway. To be honest, I'm just going to stick with 1. But if you did want to make this a bit more challenging, feel free to add that on. You've got about 4 more to go here. Lovely. Making sure we're coming back to that feeling of lift underneath our left side waist. You've got 3. You've got 2. And then on your last one, can we hold at halfway? So draw that carriage down, hold. You're just going to go for that open and close of your band. So keeping that carriage nice and still. Keep pushing that top hip away from you down towards that foot bar. You've got 6 here. You've got 5. Keep breathing normally for me for 4. Last 3. 2, finish that last open and close of your band, but can we pulse that carriage out an inch and in an inch? Last 6, then we'll take a respite for 5. Heel is heavy, last 4. Keep tension on that band if you can, last 3. Last 2, and then you can push to the top, last 1. Come all the way down for a little tap out. Don't go too far. You're going to give that top glute a nice little tap out if you need to. A couple of deep breaths, little shoulder roll. Reset that body on your carriage. I'm sorry to say we do have 1 more set to go. Slightly different, and we'll make it a slightly shorter set as well. So once you've had that nice breather, you're going to find that start position on your carriage. So lying where you were before, foot is going to come to that top corner of your foot bar, but this time I want you to lift your right heel off that foot bar. So just the ball of that foot is on your foot bar. You've still got a bit of tension on that band just to make sure that knee is tracking in line with that hip. Nice deep inhale to prepare, and then as you exhale, push through the ball of your foot, press that carriage away. Try keep that heel lifted, and then inhale to slowly draw that carriage back down. Exhale to press, and inhale to lower, keeping that heel nice and lifted. So working into ankle stability here. If this doesn't feel good, or you've got any ankle injuries or pathologies that you're working through, you can just come back to that same movement we were doing before with your heel down on that foot bar, totally fine. Otherwise, just noticing where you're feeling this one a little differently, maybe a bit more into that quad, the front of that thigh. And then let's work into that top range. The next time you're all the way to the top, you're just going to come down, find halfway, hold. Keep that carriage completely still. Can you tap your heel to the foot bar? Can you lift that heel high? And then press through the ball of your foot to the top. Again, we come down, find halfway. Heel taps, heel lifts, push to the top. Give me 5. Inhale halfway, tap and lift, push to the top. Give me 4. Keeping tension on that band. Don't let that knee collapse down. Woo, for 3. This is your last set here. Good job. Last 2. Woo-hoo-hoo. And then on your last one, of course, you know it was coming. We're going to hold. Just go for that tap and lift. Carriage is still. Tap and lift. Give me 5. Tension on that band if you can for 4. Nice deep breaths. Nearly there for 3. On 2, you're going to lift that heel and hold. Can you pulse that carriage out and in? Last 5. Ooh, last 4. Dig deep. Last 3. Last 2. And then you can finally push to the top on 1 and bring that carriage all the way down to your stopper. Take a nice deep breath there. Well done. You can come to a careful seat. Let's give that leg a bit of a shake out. So sitting on the side of your carriage, you can take that band off for now. Maybe just pop it on your foot bar so it's ready for the next side. Let's not think about that right now though. And then that right ankle can come over left thigh, keeping that foot flexed just to protect that knee. And then take a little lean forward if that feels good. So stretching into that hip flexor, that glute. A couple of deep breaths there, nice. We are going to come into a little bit of upper body before we do the other side. So I want you to put on 1 medium spring, 1 medium spring, everything else off. And then you're going to come to kneel on your carriage facing your foot bar. If it's not comfortable to kneel, maybe you've got your short box, you can sit on your carriage instead. Or a cross-legged seat is fine as well, whatever's more comfortable for you. Otherwise, knees are nice and wide for a nice stable base of support. And we start with our bum on our heels. You're going to reach for your short loops off of those posts and prepare for your offering here. So elbows in towards your waist. Give me a nice big shoulder roll back and down. So shoulder blades pulling down your back towards your back pockets. Palms are facing the ceiling. Nice deep inhale, and then as you exhale, can you offer the platter? So send those arms out long towards that foot bar. And then inhale, draw those elbows back in towards your waist. Exhale to reach. And inhale to press. Take a moment to make sure those hands are just coming up to shoulder height, no higher. Nice job. And then if that balance is feeling good today, on your next one, can we try to come up to that high kneel? So as you send those arms out long to that foot bar, press those hips forward, find high kneel, making sure we're bracing through our belly here. And then inhale, draw those elbows back to your waist as you sink that bum back down. Again, exhale to reach, come up to that high kneel position. And inhale, elbows into your waist, sit your bum back down. Nice. So come back to that zipping up feeling from your pelvis to your rib cage, making sure you're engaged through your core here, just to prevent us falling forwards. Lovely. If it's more comfortable to stay in a low kneel or stay in a high kneel position, feel free. Otherwise, we add on a layer here. Let's get those shoulders working. So the next time we send those arms out long, come up to high kneel, can you hold? You're going to keep those arms nice and long as you start to lower both of those arms down towards your thighs. Stay in high kneel. On your exhale, can you sweep those arms back up to shoulder height? And then on your inhale, elbows come to your waist, sink that bum back down. So we exhale, offer the platter, come up to high kneel. 1 frontal raise, arms lower and arms lift. Before we draw those elbows back to that start position and our bum back down to our heels, nice. So give me 5 more like that. A little bit easier to go for those large loops. If you wanted to, you've got 4. Notice I'm trying not to use any momentum to get those arms back up. 3 more. And I'm trying not to let those arms come any further back than my thighs. So I've still got tension on those straps. at the bottom of that frontal raise. Last 2. Exhale, come up. Inhale to lower. Exhale to lift. And inhale to return. Last one. Exhale to reach. Inhale, lower. Exhale to lift. And inhale, come back down. Give me one more if you're feeling good. We'll go into a little finisher in just a moment. Otherwise, take a little stretch out here, shoulders and neck. And then I want you to meet me in that high kneel position. So nice deep inhale. As you exhale, send those arms out long, come up to high kneel. We're just going to work those frontal raises. So inhale to lower and exhale to lift. Inhale to lower and exhale to lift. Is that core switched on? Are those shoulders down away from your ears? Make sure they haven't crept up here. So pull them down away. Good. Last 5. Use that breath. Last 4. Nice. Last 3. Last 2. And give me one more. Can you hold this last one? So reach those arms up and hold. You can go for little circles with those arms if there's anything left in the tank for those shoulders. Good. Last 5. Otherwise, just reaching those fingers long for 4. For 3. For 2. And come all the way down to that start position on 1. Nice job. Roll those shoulders out for me. Nice. You can put those large loops away back over those posts. And go for a little stretch out here. So maybe bringing one hand or one arm up and over your body, looking down towards that opposite hand, resting on your carriage. Inhale up and over to the other side, nice little side over, looking down towards those fingers. Beautiful. While we're on that medium spring, let's come into just one more core sequence before we go to the other side of the legs. So I want you to find your 4-point kneel on your carriage. Depending on where your foot bar is, you might want to pop that foot bar down so you've got a bit more space. I think mine is fine there for now. So hands are on your solid platform, fingertips waterfall off the front edge of that solid platform. Toes are tucked on your carriage behind you. And as best you can, find a 4-point kneel. So knees under hips, hands under shoulders. From here, I want you to give me just a couple of cat-cows. So inhale to drop the belly button down towards your carriage, looking up towards the ceiling. And exhale, start to dome through that upper back, chin to chest, gazing down towards your knees. Inhale, drop the belly. And exhale to dome. One more. Careful on that cow stretch. So this one where the belly is dropped, not to overstrain that belly. And then find your neutral spine. I want you to think about spreading your shoulder blades wide across your back, tucking that tailbone, and pulling that belly button up towards your spine. We'll start with a bear hover. So take a nice inhale. On your exhale, can you hover those knees off that carriage? And inhale, place them back down. Go again. Exhale, lift the knees. And inhale, place them down. Beautiful. Give me one more. Exhale, lift the knees. And inhale, place them down. From here, shoulders stay over your wrists. I want you to think about using your knees to send that carriage out until you find a half plank position. So think about one long straight line from the top of your head all the way down to those knees. Keeping a scoop of that tailbone, so make sure those hips aren't dropping here. On your inhale, start to hinge through those shoulders, just a really small movement to begin. Find your wheelbarrow. And then exhale to press through both of those palms. Bring your shoulders back over your wrists. Your knees come back under your hips. And then you're going to give me one bear hover. Exhale, lift. And inhale, lower. Send those knees away. Send those shoulders away. Shoulders back over wrists. Knees back under hips. Lift the knees. Place the knees down. Send the knees away. Wheelbarrow out and in. Knees back under hips. Bear hover, lift the knees and lower the knees. Send the knees away. Send the shoulders away. Shoulders over wrists. Knees under hips. Lift the knees and place the knees down. You've got two more. So send the knees away, find your half plank. Send the shoulders away, find your wheelbarrow. Shoulders over wrists. Knees under hips. One bear hover lift. And lower. You've got one more. Knees away, find that half plank. Shoulders away, find that wheelbarrow. Shoulders over wrists. Knees under hips. One last bear hover, lift the knees. Can you hold for 5? For 4. Belly button pulls to spine for 3. Keep breathing. Last 2. And place the knees down on 1. Nice job. You can let that carriage come gently into that stopper. Give yourself a little twist out for that spine, whatever feels good here. Maybe let's take that left hand out towards the left side of the room. Maybe rotate to reach those left fingers up towards the ceiling. And then thread the needle. Reach those left fingers underneath your right side waist. Take a little twist, a little stretch out here. Letting that shoulder drop, so bending into that supporting right elbow. And come back through center, do the other side. So reach your right fingertips maybe up towards the ceiling, take a twist. Thread the needle, those right fingers reach under your body for the left side of the room, bending into that left elbow. And let that right shoulder drop. And then open back out through center. Nice. All right, you have the other side of the legs to go. So we were on 2 heavy springs for that leg set. Put your 2 heavy springs back on. Take that medium spring off. Pop your band back around your thighs. So just above those knees. And then you're going to come to take your side lying position, this time facing the opposite side of the room. So let's lie on our right side. Remember, you can use your chi ball or your yoga block as your pillow if you prefer. Otherwise, I'm just going to use my forearm. Your hips are all the way to the back of that machine. Check your hips and your shoulders are stacked. And then that top foot is going to come to the top corner of that foot bar, ball of your foot and heel, and a little stretch of that band just to make sure that knee is in line with that hip. Give that top hip that little push down towards your foot bar, top hand either on that shoulder block or underneath your belly, and then on your next exhale, start to push through that heel, send that carriage all the way out. And then inhale to float that carriage back in nice and slow. Exhale, push through that heel, send that carriage away. And inhale to slowly return. Nice. So coming back to that nice push of that top hip down towards that foot bar. Making sure that knee is tracking in line with your middle toe. Weight presses heavy into that left heel, so you should still be able to wiggle your toes through this first one. And then we can start to work into that top range. So the next time we're all the way at the top, come down, find halfway, hold. Can you give me that open and close of your band before you press through that heel to the top? Inhale, halfway. Exhale, open. Inhale, close. Exhale, press through your heel to the top. Inhale, lower. Lift and lower. And then exhale, push to the top. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, open. Inhale, close. And then push through that heel to the top. Give me 5 more. Remember, you can add on an extra open and close of that band if you did want that extra push here. Three more. Two more. And on your last one, hold at the bottom. You've just got that open and close of your band, keeping that carriage nice and still for 5, for 4. Weight is heavy through that heel for 3. Good. For 2, finish that one off that you're on. Let's pulse out and in, out and in. Bring a little bit more weight into that left heel for 5, for 4, for 3, for 2, and push to the top on 1. Nice job. Come all the way down. Give that top glute a little punch out, but stay where you are lying down on that carriage. You've got that second set to go with your slightly switched up foot position. So once you've had that tap out, a couple of deep breaths, this is your last set of work for your class. So you've done so well. Last push for that left leg. So find that start position, little stretch on that band. Hips and shoulders are stacked. This time, can you lift that top heel off your foot bar? So pretend like you're on tippy-toe shoes. And then keeping that heel nice and lifted, push through the ball of your foot, send that carriage away. And then inhale, float that carriage back down, heel is still lifted. Go again, exhale, press away. And inhale, float back down. Make sure you've still got tension on that band if you're using one. Just helps to make sure that knee is tracking in line with that foot. Woo. And then on your next one, let's start to work into that top range. So press that carriage away, hold. Can you bring that carriage down to halfway? Pause that carriage nice and super still. Heel is going to tap to your foot bar. Heel is going to lift high. Push through the ball of your foot to the top. Find halfway. Tap and lift that heel. And then push to the top for 5. Remember, if this feels yucky on your ankle, come back to that movement we were doing before with your heel down on that foot bar. Totally fine. Woohoo! Last 3. This is your last push. Last 2. Ow. And then on your last one, we hold it halfway. You can do it. You've got it. Find halfway, hold. Just go for that tap of your heel and lift. Tap and lift for 5. Got that lift underneath your right side waist for 4. For 3. Lift that heel high on 2 and hold. Just go for that pulse. Last 5, then you're done. Last 4. Last 3. Can you get that heel higher for 2? And push to the top on 1. Oh, amazing. Bring that carriage all the way in. You can take a gentle seat up on your carriage. That band can go away. Done with that band. Chuck it wherever you like. And then give that left leg a quick little stretch out. So left ankle over right thigh this time. Left foot is flexed. Take that lean forward. Should feel it in that hip flexor and that glute. Nice job, guys. Did so well. We'll take a little stretch out for those legs before we finish our class. But all the hard work is done. You did amazing. So we can come back to that medium spring. And you're going to come to the right side of your carriage first. So reformer is on your left. Your right foot is nice and close to your machine on the floor. Use that foot bar as you bring your left knee down to that machine. From here, we're going to sink into our hip flexor stretch, so send that knee away, keeping that right knee over that right ankle, or it can come a little forward if that's comfortable. And then if you're feeling good, you can deepen the stretch by maybe bringing your forearms down to that solid platform. You can let that right knee slightly fall out to the sides if you like. You can either take this static stretch, nice and still, or if it feels good, you can go for a little rock. I will say if you are pregnant, just remember to take your stretches super easy. So now's not the time to push. Your body has a whole bunch more of your relaxin hormone, which can make it easier to get down a little deeper into a stretch, but isn't necessarily the best thing to do. Don't want to push it too hard and injure ourselves, so just take it nice and easy, nice and gently. Couple deep breaths here. And then let's come to the other side, so gently come up out of that stretch. Actually, let's do a little hamstring stretch while we're here. So sink your bum down to your heel, straighten out that right leg. Those toes come up to the ceiling. You can even reach that right hand down for those toes if that feels good. Little stretch there. And then come up, we'll go straight for the other side. So just be mindful you're on a light spring. You can bring yourself around to the other side. Your left foot down next to your machine. Right knee down on that carriage, sinking down into that hip flexor stretch. Maybe forearms come down to your solid platform, maybe they don't. Maybe that knee falls gently out to the side just a little bit. If that feels good, rock from side to side, or maybe take this statically. And focus on that deep breath in through your nose, coming back to that feeling of your belly rising, your ribcage expanding and contracting with each exhale. Take our hamstring stretch, so you can come out of that one nice and gently. Bum down to your heel, straighten out that left leg, reaching for those left toes. Nice. We'll take a stretch out for our shoulders. So come to take a kneeling position, or maybe a cross-legged seat on your carriage, whatever feels good. You're going to bring your right hand down to that foot bar, and then slowly start to slide that carriage away as you bring that left hand up and over. Try to keep both hips evenly weighted on that carriage to start off with. Nice deep side bend here. You might want to bring that top hand down to your foot bar to take a little twist down towards those springs. For me, that's just going to feel a little bit strainy through that belly, so I'm going to stay here, but feel free to take that rotation if you prefer. And then coming up through center. Maybe it feels nice to go for a rotation the other way. That feels a little better for me on this side. So both hands down to those railings. Little twist for that chest towards your well. And then coming out through center, we'll go for the other side. So come around, taking that seat facing in the opposite direction. Left hand this time to your foot bar, right hand up and over. Keeping those hips evenly weighted. So it's tempting to go lift that right hip and come all the way over, but If you keep that right hip grounded, you'll feel a bit of a deeper stretch through that side body, even though you're not down quite so far. Maybe take that rotation on this side if it felt good. So right hand down to that foot bar, melt your chest down to those springs. I'm just going to stay in my side over for now. And then carefully come up, maybe coming over to the other side. And that rotation on the other side might feel good for you. So both hands down to those railings, chest down towards those springs. Gorgeous. And then we'll finish our class in our child's pose. So bring both knees nice and wide on that carriage. Feet together. You can sink your bum down to your heels, hands to that foot bar, and slowly slide that carriage away. So our knees are nice and wide to make room for that bump. If, like me, you're getting a little bit too big for this position, you can bring your hips up just above your knees and find puppy pose instead. Just makes a little bit more space for that growing bump. And then melt your chest down towards that spring. One more deep breath in. Exhale, let all of that tension go. And then slowly come out of that stretch when you're ready. Amazing job. Take any last stretches that you need here, any last stretches that feel good. Otherwise, that's you done for your class. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope the body is feeling good. And let me know if there's anything you'd like to see in the next workout video. Well done.